everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're new around these parts, hi, my name is Missa, welcome. That's my Instagram, that's my Twitter, go check them out if you want, because we're all bored right now, aren't we, stuck inside, so check them out. Today I thought I would sit and tell you about my favourite bright coloured eyeshadow palettes, because I have a few that I really love and swear by. I am someone, I think I'm probably more, you know, known, not that I'm known, but if you know what I mean, for like wearing brights and fun colours. So I thought I would show you like my favourite palettes and like why I love them and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to do today. You can let me know if you want to see me do it for like neutrals and other things like that. I've not necessarily spent ages on my makeup today, but it meant I could not be bothered with hair, so we'll ignore that. So we'll jump in with one of my favourite brands, and it's a brand that I probably don't talk about enough, although I do use their sponge every single day, and every time I upload a video I get asked. Colour Drain, the sponges are phenomenal, and they have this really great palette. It's actually, well, mine is singles in a like empty palette, and I've had this for a really long time, so it's a bit mucky. This is their Vivid Pigments. They don't, I don't think, sell them as singles anymore, but they have them as a fully formed palette, so I don't think you can pop them out, but my ones you can. But it's the same shades, everything is the same, it's just you can pop mine out. Colour Drain have some of the highest quality eyeshadows that I've ever played with, I think. I think the reason I don't talk about this a whole heap is because I have one that I'm going to talk about that is just a lot easier for like my British viewers to get and me to get, whereas this you have to place an order on Colour Drain. I don't think this is still on Beauty Bay. I'll try and link it below, like wherever it's from. But the quality, I mean, let me just touch these. Oh, they're so buttery. You know, I've got a really tight top on and it won't let me roll up the sleeves. The quality is just fantastic. All of the colours are really great, and what I like is that there's some kind of like you know, like primary colours in here, like the red, the yellows, the blues, but you've also got the in-betweens, the peaches, the pinks, the purples. I mean, oof. I feel like if you're someone that doesn't use colour a whole lot but you kind of want to experiment a little bit more with it, this would be a really good shout, because you're just adding in a lot of those tones that you really need to play with colour. Like one way that I think is a really nice way to do it is if you do like a really kind of neutral brown eye but just run blue along the lower lash line, that can look really pretty. And then you've got some 1, 2, like 3 gorgeous blues, 4 gorgeous blues in here. I can't count. But yeah, I feel like Colour Drain are really well known for their eyeshadows. I can't wait till they bring out a foundation. Apparently they're, I mean, it's probably just delayed with everything that's going on. But next up, this is a palette that I've done a few videos on. In fact, I used it in a very recent video. It's my Morphe James Charles. When I saw this, like when they first released it, I was so excited by it. Mine is real mucky, by the way, especially because the yellow is really crumbly. This is what the James Charles looks like. Again, I'm sure you've pretty much all seen this before. My yellow's a bit weird. It's like, it's very crumbly. You can probably see it a lot up here as well, and on the pans. This is more pricey from Morphe because it is James Charles. It's got his name on it, but it is probably one of the best Morphe palettes out there. I do feel like the formula is better than in your like traditional, like, how much are Morphe palettes? £24? I think this was 39, so that is quite steep, isn't it? But I think the colour payoff on this palette is fantastic. I really like how they blend, and I really like as well, I think why I really like this palette as well is because actually the neutrals in it are very beautiful, and I feel like they do work pretty well with the brights. Like usually I don't mix brights and neutrals, but you've got some really lovely midtones, like this kind of weird yellow, this kind of weird orange, with this bright orange, and then this red, and then this yellow, and you can just do anything with it. For me though, the shimmers in this palette kind of let it down. They're not very special. I mean, they're fine. The shimmers, yeah, I mean, they're pretty, aren't they? They're alright, but for me, I don't really reach for this palette for the shimmers, although if I'm doing a look with it, it's fine. I just think that the mattes in here are a bit more special for the Morphe formula. And you can now get this in a mini, which you save quite a bit of money on. I think you save about £10 on it, and actually, I would probably get the mini. Like if this died and I replace it, I'd just get the mini, just because this is so big. Like it's one of the absolutely ginormous Morphe palettes. I've got huge hands, so it's a bit of a pain in the butt to store, but great. I should have said that's all mattes, by the way. But yeah, I prefer this for the mattes. I don't really reach for the shimmers. You know, Not all palettes can be perfect, can they? These next two are favourites because I love the formula, but they're favourites more so because if I want something from this colour story, this is where I go, and I go there every single time. The first one is if I want a green look. If I want a blue look, I reach for my Jeffree Star Blue Blood. This is just pretty much an all blue palette. I'm going to hold it upside down because there's so much kick up and fall out. I'm not sure if you can see that. That it's going to fall on my floor and get my rented carpet minging. So this is the Blue Blood. The packaging is stunning, but the formula in this, I really rate it really highly. Pretty sure all of these palettes I've done like multiple videos on. I will forget to link them, but you can just like search my name and the palette name and you should be able to find them. It is quite a green blue palette, but it is predominantly blue. Let me touch it up a little. Look at that. Oh, look at that. This one here is quite green compared to the rest that I'm swatching. That didn't swatch very, oh my goodness. Wow. Look at that one. What is that all about? In my head I'm like, Melissa, I want to do a blue look today. This is the palette I'll always reach for. I spent a lot of money on this palette, you know, how much was it, like £52 or something? So I feel like when I play with blues, this is what I want to play with. It's got this really lovely one called Ocean Ice, which is a little tricky to work with, but come on. I want to use this palette like right now that I've swatched that. I think out of all of these, this one probably gets used the least, just because I used to do a lot of blue looks. I don't do them so much now. I still really enjoy blue looks, but I have to be in quite like a specific mood for it. But if I'm in the mood for blue, it's the Blue Blood. It is very good quality. The packaging is lovely. It is expensive. Most of the palettes I'm going to talk about are, to be honest. And then the second one might not be a shock because this has always been in my like top 5 favourite palettes of all time. This is my Blood Sugar. I remember the first time I saw a picture of this online, I could have died. I still think, like, the packaging on both of these is so big and bulky, it's ridiculous, but I do kind of love it. Ignore my desk. Blood Sugar, my baby, my baby. I feel like this is the palette that like really ignited my love for like cranberries and raspberries and pinks and purples, even though there's actually quite a lot of neutrals in here. Like this whole first row and like these first 3 are quite neutral. The rest are very like burgundy red. I spoke about it in my makeup collection video as well, but it's got like the best white matte that I've ever played with. Look at that. I just don't think I've ever picked up this palette to play with it and not liked the look that I've come up with, which sounds like, I don't know, big-headed to say, but it's just that the colours all go so well together. They blend like a dream. They're just, oh, they're just right. If you like this kind of colour scheme, you probably already have this palette then, to be honest, but if you don't, I would recommend buying it. I think the letdown for me in this palette is the shimmers, just because honestly I don't really reach for them. I reach for this palette for the mattes again. These are like the shimmers in there. I mean, that top peachy one is quite pretty and that gold is lovely. If you love the colour story, I don't think you'll be disappointed by this palette one bit. This one is not going to be a shock. I will not speak about it very much. My Beauty Bay Mitchell. This palette is all of my dreams like rolled into one. Look at all these gorgeous brights, all the yellows, the pinks, and then on this side we've got the blues and the greens and the purples. And this really annoying mirror on the inside. This is a palette I've probably done the most tutorials with on my channel of all time. It is fantastic. I need to do a look with just those 4 colours and I could never do it, but look at them. I don't think I've ever reached for another palette as much as I've reached for my Mitchell, and again, when I first saw it I was like, meh, not gonna get that. I had to get it. Also, unlike most of the other palettes I've spoken about, the metallics in here are pretty much just as good as the mattes. And another reason I love it, and I have to point it out again, even though I always point it out, is that there is like blending shades. So say you put on this shade, you can blend it out with this bright one. If you put on this bright pink, you can blend it out with this light one. Dark purple, blend it out with that. Dark blue, blend it out with that. Green, neutrals. You can just tell he's a makeup artist, and that's how he created this palette, because you have your blending options, and then you've got your like, oh, I'm gonna do purples, but I want to jazz it up and put on like a lime green. Do you know what I mean? It's the perfect palette. I talk about it all the time. Okay, I've got 2 honourable mentions, both for the same kind of colour story, so let me just show you them quickly. First up, Jeffree Star Bloodlust. And I say honourable because I've only used this about 6 or 7 times now. I've only filmed with it once, even though I'm meant to do more, and I will do more. I used it today. Hate the packaging, you know me. But if I want purples now, this palette really tickles my pickle. I do have a few issues with it, but I'm not going to go into those. If you want to see like my full review, it is up on my channel with all the swatches and stuff, just like with the rest of them. The reason I have to put it in is just because I feel like this is Jeffree Star's best quality palette to date. The shimmers are fantastic, the mattes are so soft and beautiful, and I don't think it swatches as well. I mean, you might agree, you might not agree. I don't think it swatches quite as well as maybe some of his other palettes, but actually when you put these on your eyes, that's when the magic happens, and that's when you need the magic to happen, isn't it? This was really kindly sent to me by one of my subscribers and patrons, Alexandria. I couldn't afford to buy it when it released, but now I have it. It is a gem in my collection and I adore it. And talking of the 39S, I do have to point this out and show you why I really like this palette. Morphe 39S, such a gem. Looks like this, and I actually think this might be better quality than the James Charles. Purples and pinks are just my kind of colour story, and if they're yours as well, I feel like you probably will really like this palette. And another thing is the shimmers in here are really pretty as well. Let me make sure my hand's dry. What I like as well is like with the Mitchell one, see I've got that bright pink, I've got that baby pink, and for the purples you got really deep purple and then you got lighter purples. Let me swatch some of the shimmers in here actually. This is one of their more expensive palettes again because you get more shades. I think this was £39 or £34, £35. But I actually don't resent it. The massive big middle pans are a different formula and actually very much like the new shimmer formula in the Jeffree Star palette. They are like wet feeling and they just kind of glide over. What I like about them is they don't crack on my eyes, and they're more like toppers, but they're just extra shimmery. This one is really like one of the shades in the Jeffree Star. They're just very shimmery, glittery kind of top coats that are wet feeling in the pan. And I think if you don't want to buy the Bloodlust for any reason from Jeffree Star, then this would be a really good alternative palette. And what I like as well is it does have neutrals in it, so you could do a more kind of toned down look with it, or you could really amp it up. I mean, look at those middle shades just glistening. Those are my favourite bright palettes. Let me know again, like I said, if you want me to do like other palettes. I also thought I could do a whole video on my favourite blue eyeshadows because you know how much I love swatching them. Please let me know what bright palettes you have in your collection that you think I really need. But yeah, that's it for me today. Hopefully short and sweet. I'm going to piss off, wipe this makeup off, edit this video. And I really hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, let me know what palettes I need. If you did enjoy it, give it a big thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below and subscribe. It's the polite thing to do, you know. Thank you all so much for watching. We are so close to 60k, which is nuts. It kind of baffles me. Well, it does baffle me. So cool though. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, and a special thank you of course to my patrons. Thank you for your support on Patreon and on my channel. You are keeping me sane through our lockdown and our quarantine, and yeah, just thank you so much. If you want to be a patron, the link's down below in the description box. We've got a WhatsApp group, a Facebook group, a Discord, and I do lives. But yeah, on that note, I will piss off. Finally, I'll piss off now. And I hope I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye!
Story took its toll, thought I would've grown off the beaten track to become a better man.